Welcome to the Richmond Film Network Podcast, your all-access pass to the world of independent cinema. Each week, we go beyond the credits and sit down with the creatives who turn vision into reality. Tune in weekly to find out who's on the RFN pod.
Welcome, everyone, to the Richmond Film Network Podcast. I'm Lisa Giles, your host, and with me today is Patrick Wittle. Patrick Wittle is an actor, writer, and musician whose new short film, Stacy's a Sellout, directed by Adam Lapallo, blurs the lines between narrative film and music video. Patrick not only wrote the script and the song, he also stars in it. The film follows a musician clinging to his creative spark while working a dead-end job with a little help from a questionable source of inspiration. Welcome to the RFN podcast, Patrick.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
So Stacy's a Sellout is, like I said, part short film, part music video. What format, when you were writing this, what came first? Did the thought for the song, the music video, the screenplay? How did it begin and how did it morph into what we're going to see at Indie Fest?
So the song actually came years ago, actually back in 2016 as its own separate thing. It was back when I was heavily trying to actually go into the music side of things rather than film. And it was the help of a friend of mine from high school. He got me into like Alice Cooper, right? James Dio, helped me actually kind of inspire me to write the song. And after doing a demo recording of it, it just kind of sat around, didn't go anywhere. And then years later, after getting more into scripts and stuff, I did the short film, wrote the script for Stacy's a Sellout. It wasn't called that at the time, but it's kind of reminiscent of, again, washing dishes, trying to go to that place of escape. And I was really hoping at the time to use an actual song that exists from a Australian artist, and ended up reaching out to them, still waiting to hear back from them. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's not going to work. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, what would work out of all the songs I've written? Because a lot of stuff I write is more Nirvana, grungy, kind of dark. And I'm like, well, that's not the vibe for Stacy's a Sellout. It's supposed to be that whole place of just like escape and positivity and just party kind of, or love also, as it's described in the video. So when looking back at my stuff, I look back at Stacy's a Sellout. I'm like, well, you know what? This could actually probably mix perfectly with the script. I ended up, of course, intertwining both together, even though both came at different periods of time. And then, thankfully, Stacy's a Sellout just came to what it became. So
I love the film's title. It's a super catchy title. Tell me, what does being a sellout mean to you exactly?
So I do like to keep things open to interpretation, but sellout for me in this case was how valuable the escape is, to not give yourself to, whether it be a day job, whatever stresses you out, and go to that place that sells out, which is the dream, the escape, wherever you want to go. So
I love that there is at least two ways to look at that. Being a sellout, like a sold out success, and then being a sellout meaning the opposite, a negative connotation. So I love that double meaning. So the film explores some tension between art and survival, keeping your creativity alive while working the soul-crushing job that the character works. How much of that comes from your own experience?
a lot. So currently, I'm still a dishwasher at Outback Steakhouse. And even though things are better now, but every single time up from when I started working at Outback as a dishwasher up until now, I still have the tendency, especially when things get stressful, I always get on my iPhone. I plug in some earplugs that I have, and I listen to music. And sometimes I'll go so far as like to get like energy going. I start dancing, I start grooving to the song, and people will actually look at me like, okay, what's this guy doing? But I don't mind it because it takes me out of like, if there's all kinds of plates and stuff and it's stressful, and you're moving around and everything. So it's like a bit of a workout. So having the music going into my ears, into my head, it just allows me to go into that escape, and I don't think of the stress of the job so much, if that makes sense. And
Sure.
also loosely with the character of Duke, that is based off a manager I once had at another location at Outback. Not the current location I'm in because all the managers are chill, but there was a little inspiration on that and how the manager for a while was, kind of getting under my tail, especially when I was listening to music. And I'm like, well, come on, I need this to, I don't want to say gloomy, but washing dishes at a restaurant, especially when it's busy, that can really, it could take its toll for sure.
So there's a lot of reality in what we're seeing on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you worked with Adam Lapallo, who is no stranger to the Richmond Film Network. He screened several times. I'm starting to lose count how many films he screened with but you worked with him to direct this project. So how did that collaboration come about? How was he tapped? And what did he bring to the project that elevated your vision? How did you know he was the guy?
Well, really, you mentioned all the films he's worked on stuff and like seeing him firsthand because of his experience. For one thing, I was just like, okay, if I want to make a good project here, he's absolutely the guy. But also because myself, him, and even Sarbjeet G. Dawson, Thomas Richardson, all four of us are super, super close. And when I first started kind of pitching the project around to different people, it was at a back like in January at a brunch. It was me, Adam, Sarbs, and Thomas. And when talking to them about the film, they immediately, their eyes lit up. They were just like, yeah, tell us more about it. So immediately the fact that they were all enthusiastic about helping me bring this to life, that's what probably drew me in the most. And just at working with them was so rewarding because, again, we're all very close. And just overall, the whole experience of like being in a world of a story with like Sarbs and Thomas being the actors or characters, I should say, and then Adam having the full vision on what's going to take place in this world. It was kind of just a dream come true, honestly, in my opinion. And Adam, when it came to giving him the script, with everything he's done again in film, I was just like, okay, he knows what he's doing, and I just completely trusted him with the project because I've seen other projects where sometimes the writers get in the way of the director and they'll get in the way of the director's vision. I've seen how that's gotten rocky with some film sets. So I was like, no, I want to trust whatever he has to offer and see what this could ultimately become. And I'm just grateful he brought to life the way he did. So
yeah, there's definitely a look and feel about it that I feel like I haven't seen in Adam's work yet. So when I realized he was the director, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of fresh. This is kind of new. So it's kind of exciting to see your words, your story, and his directing. I think it's a wonderful collaboration.
Oh, yeah.
So you have some pretty cool locations, some iconic locations in the exteriors and then interior scenes. Tell me about that.
Yes. So the first location being Belle Isle. Now, granted, this was all pretty much shot almost or slightly over one day because we started on June 7th, and during the day is where we shot Belle Isle. And even though it looks cool, I will say wearing the sweater, the tight jeans, and the wig in June Richmond weather, which is 90-something degrees, not even including humidity. I'm doing all these spins and everything. And I know it looks cool in the video, but oh my gosh. For one thing, I'm glad because it was kind of last minute getting waters for everyone on set. So I'm glad I made sure all that was good to go because I definitely, on my end, definitely needed it. But I think coming out, this was about, I think 4.5, 5 hours of shooting we did at Belle Isle. I remember, I think I started getting a little bit of heat exhaustion. So I'm like, okay, Adam, hopefully there's just a couple more spins. I don't know how much more I can do. Thankfully, all worked out. And then it was that evening at the midnight hour, we went to a Trapezium in Petersburg. And that was all in thanks to Chris Haas, since he owns a lot of property down in Petersburg. But because we didn't want to interfere with the restaurant hours, we got it after they closed, and we shot all through the night from midnight till I think around, it was like 7, 8 a.m. We had wrapped. But even with the night shoot, I personally was energized. Everyone seemed just motivated and happy to be there. So that was also a big blessing because a lot of filmmakers, especially which a lot of them being volunteer, the fact that they're enjoying being part of the project, even at those like grueling hours, was just grateful, and everyone just had fun. So that was, again, a blessing.
So we touched on how you wrote the script, wrote the song, performed the song, and you're the lead character. and turning over the control to Adam for the directing vision of it. Was there any collaboration on that at all? Or you just said, here's the script, tell me what to do?
It was very much the latter, because right when Adam and actually also Eric Hackler, being the cinematographer, they were the ones who made all the decisions to the angles, how everything was going to look. Also some additions, because originally I only had, from what I recall, I think Stacy was only supposed to be really in like the guitar solo scene, but she was added in throughout, and also Sarbs' character of Ziggy also being added in, because originally it was just supposed to be my character, and then of course the character of Stacy, again with the solo. So all that together, I feel it worked, because even with Sarbs' character being there with my character, it makes sense because I'm seeing him, that he's in the world with me. So I like that decision that Adam and Eric made on that end. And really for them, it was just a lot of angle shots and just how everything was going to look, which I completely trusted both of them with what they had to offer. Oh, yeah. And it all, I feel like, worked out for the best.
And how many total shoot days?
Really just, trying to think how to describe this, but yeah, like from around noon on June 7th to the morning of June 8th. So I guess like a day and a half, if I'm counting it correctly. But
for both locations? So you left Belle Isle and went
Trapezium,
to Petersburg to the
yeah.
restaurant?
After a matter of hours, there was a brief period where I came back here to my apartment, just slept, and then got my gear on for the shooting of Trapezium. And then, yeah, that was till 8 a.m. And then after that, I think was just sleep for the rest of the day. So, yeah, kind of similar to a 48, actually.
A 48-hour film project. For those who don't know what a 48 is. How many pages was the script?
I think it was like 8 or 9, I want to say. Definitely short. Originally, I think before I decided to use Stacy's a Sellout for the songs, I think it was actually 6 or 7. But then adding the lyrics into the script, it got up to like around 8 or 9. So, yeah.
And I'm looking 8 minutes, 36 seconds runtime.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take to edit and finish?
That was really just like around a month. Adam was the one who also did the editing for the film. Preferably chose just, again, also to trust him on that end. I didn't see any. Well, I did see like one early draft, but it was almost to completion. All that needed was just the adding of the lead section of the song. Other than that, it was a case also, once again, trusting what Adam had vision-wise. And, but yeah, over pretty much that month of July is how the editing process took. And then early August was when it was finalized.
So this is your first professionally recorded song. What was that experience like?
Amazing. So the guitar, I think you probably know about this, Lisa, but using this guitar that I won from Rosetta Tharpe, it was the celebration for Richmond. Using that for one thing was incredible because of that experience, but also practicing with Thomas, who playing Duke, but also he does the drums for the song. So to collaborate with another musician was absolutely incredible. And then finally getting to In Your Studios back in May, that was just, I didn't expect it to be so, I guess the best way to describe it is zen, very meditative. Because originally, especially because you're wearing a headset a lot like this in the studio, and there's a metronome going off to make sure you're in sync with the rest of the song. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, what if I am off key or something, or not on the metronome scale, and I mess this up? But once, especially on the lead part of it, once everything started recording, and I'm starting to play like the riff and the lead, it was, I don't want to say like out of body experience, but I recall like I was conscious, but like I didn't have control of my hands doing the chords or the solo or anything. I was watching myself play guitar. Just everything of my body just went with the groove of hearing the beat, the rhythm, the bass. And it's just like it came out of me. It's like, again, it just felt really good, very peaceful. And I'm like, wow, is this how it is for all music artists possibly? But that was just an amazing experience. But yeah, like to feel that and to know, like on my end anyway, if that's what it's like to record a song. yeah, it was just incredible and just a very interesting, zen, peaceful experience. So
That is amazing, Patrick. Have you been back in the studio since?
not yet. I fingers crossed. I hope to do some more song recordings, so we'll see. I'd like to experience that again for sure, but again, we shall see.
Yeah, that seems like that's your happy place.
Oh yeah,
If
for
it
sure.
made you feel like that, wow. Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
very peaceful. Yeah, for sure.
So you're a regular in the Richmond Film Network Screenwriters Lab, and I have read your scripts in that lab. So I know what your writing style is like, and I know the kinds of stories that you tell. So I had not read anything like Stacy. You've never submitted anything like Stacy to RFN Lab. So uh, this was pure fun. And you've written some dark stuff before. How is this one the one that ended up getting made? Is it because it was short? Is it because it was easy? It was because you pitched it to Adam and they all jumped on board. How was this the one that got selected?
Definitely how easy to pull it off was, because that was something, especially writing the script, looking back on like what would have to be used, really just, like with a dream sequence, but also just the one location being a kitchen. And there's all kinds of restaurants in and around Richmond. So I'm like, okay, well, there's probably something easy enough I could probably lock on. And this was even before getting to know Chris Haas. But because of that, and because with music as well, because it also is a music video in a way, I really just wanted to see what doorways it could possibly open. Now, granted, I have some ideas on what I could possibly do for this in the future, but just seeing where it could go in different directions, I'm like, why not give it a shot? Why not see where it can go? But also, it was also the sense of creating both the song and the script. Once creating it, not having it on the shelf anymore, I was just like, well, if it's easy enough, why not actually put it out there? Like, not just like keep it on the shelf forever and just think, oh, what it could have been, because everything was just kind of right. And also because of with Adam, Sarbs, and Thomas's interest in the film, I was like, well, you know what? Either now or never. That's what kind of just pushed me like, okay, let's actually do this and just see where it goes. Because it really, at the end of the day, regardless of where this does go, I'm just happy that I recorded a song, I got to make a music video out of it, and just that it's out there. That's just the reward really for me, that it's made, and it's a piece of art that people can see regardless of where it goes. And it's just something to look back on, like I actually did this, and how fun of an experience it was just to bring it all to life.
Well, that's so awesome. I'm so glad that you got it done. So in that process, did you learn any lessons that are worth sharing?
Yes. Setting on the dates, setting on the locations. And there was a couple other things too. There was a little miscommunication on my end when it comes to like just the producer end of things. So that was kind of a valuable lesson, how to, especially coming from the writing standpoint or even the acting standpoint, just having involvement, putting something together, like how to properly communicate with the producer, allow them to do their job. Because that was all very brand new to me. That on my end was kind of a learning experience on how to coordinate with a producer. But I'd say with other, like, especially filmmakers just starting out, to really know, what the job of the certain individual is, and like how to properly like communicate, execute when bringing a production together, and not accidentally take over someone's job. Not completely, but like even by a little bit, to learn the positions and know where your place is amongst the positions, if that makes sense.
Sure. So, if you could go back and give your creative self a piece of advice before you started making this film, what would it be? And maybe what you just said is part of that, but knowing what you know now.
I'd say, well, that part being the biggest for sure. But other than that, I feel everything just came out the way it was supposed to be, how I feel I wanted it to be. So really, I don't think I would really change much.
So, the way that you described the recording of the song, who doesn't want to feel that? And then making the film to be the visual representation. Have you already started something new, a new project to scratch the itch?
Well, I will say my plan kind of next is with a feature script I think you know about called the Oracle of Emmitsburg. I'm planning for right now. There's a scene later on in the story where one of the characters is in a hospital and they're watching a music video from a TV monitor, and I'm thinking for Stacy to sell out to be that music video that the character watches. So I'm
Oh, I
thinking
love
because
that.
of that, maybe possibly when it comes to like funding or doing the campaign, possibly using Stacy to sell out in that campaign, saying, "Hey, this is what appears in a small scene in the film." Um, so that's kind of the next most idealistic, my next approach, if anything. But there are some things on the drawing board. I'm just kind of seeing, especially where things are going. But the Oracle of Emmitsburg's the big one. I'm just kind of like, because I spent so many years developing this. I'm right now, a producer's actually looking it over as we speak. So because of that, I'd say that's the big one. I'm looking forward to, fingers crossed, bringing to life. So we'll see. And then if everything goes as planned, I still want Stacy to sell out to be in that one little scene is probably what's going to be next for that.
That's ambitious. Of course, we labbed Oracle of Emmitsburg in the Richmond Film Network Screenwriters Lab. So that would be amazing to see that feature come to life, be your next thing. So fingers crossed for you.
Yeah, thank you.
So if you could collaborate with anyone, actor, director, musician, who would that be?
Oh boy, I don't know how well you can see the shirt. Wearing my David Bowie shirt. Now of course he's long gone, but that would definitely be a dream. But as far as after collaborations, Johnny Depp, I will say he's one. Also, even Rob Lowe, who I actually, back in 2013, the very first acting role that I had was with him in a movie called Killing Kennedy. So I'm not sure how well he remembers me, even though I did have a speaking role with him. But maybe to have a reunion down the road, we'll see. But as far as like directors and writers and stuff to collaborate, really, I wouldn't mind doing more things with Adam, Sarbs, and Thomas, especially since Sarbs and Thomas are actually getting more into directing as well and writing. So I know there's some big names out there, but when you're with your friends, or even Cahill Dote also for that matter, because I know he does stuff. So amongst the circle, like what they're doing, I feel that's enough for me. So always just good to
I
collaborate with
love
people you
that.
enjoy. Yeah. So.
Love that. So, favorite film about musicians or artists?
Ooh, I I'm gonna have to say Velvet Goldmine, which came out in the late '90s, is an early kind of biopic-ish of David Bowie. Would have to be the one that stands out to me most. There's another film also actually, even to bring up since recently Ace Frehley passed away, but Detroit Rock City, about this aspiring rock band. They're kind of trying to make it, but like their big thing is they're huge Kiss fans. They're trying to see a Kiss concert, and things get in the way of that. That was when I discovered in high school, and even though it has that Dazed and Confused kind of vibe, which I also like as well, but that's one that's played a huge role through my childhood and even me just in filmmaking in general, the way that film was made. But yeah, all kinds, like Almost Famous, the Runaways biopic, the Dirt biopic. Yeah, there's anything that's rock and roll and is a movie, I'm most likely gonna like it.
All right, last question of the lightning round. What is the hardest line as an actor that you've ever had to deliver?
Okay. So there was this feature film in 2023 where Adam Lapallo actually was playing my brother, and we had monologue after monologue. But one of the shortest lines I had in this movie pretty much went like, well, what about the sequence of operations to put within the computer's memory? It involves a queue analysis of software instructions. We need sequencing, circuitry, algebraic logic, the full hog. And oh my gosh, what am I even saying right now? Yeah, that was like the
Wait a
shortest
minute. That
line
was
other than
from when was this? What year?
2023. 2023.
So 2 years later, you still remember that?
It's somehow plastered in my brain still. I don't know. It definitely, speaking of the brain, I think it also did its damage too, because again, it was monologue after monologue in such a quick, fast pace. Because getting the lines in and then shooting was all a short period of time. So I remember kind of being dazed out a lot of the time. Adam always says that time period was just like a blur making that movie because of all the dialogue. But yeah, that's definitely the most difficult role I've taken on so far.
Well, Patrick, this has been great fun. I can't wait to show your movie, Stacy's a Sellout, at RFN Indie Fest on November 15th at the Park RVA. Tell our viewers how they can keep up with your work online.
On social media, you can follow me at D Patrick Wittle on Instagram, or just Patrick Wittle on Facebook. Even if you just put in the Google search engine David Patrick Wittle, you can find me IMDb and other sites as well. So I'm out there.
Fantastic, Patrick. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Richmond Film Network Podcast. Thanks to our guest and to you, our listeners, for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. Tune in next week to see who's on the RFN pod. Until then, keep the cameras rolling.